All right, part 3 of the Warrior gear review, and we're going to save the best for last because everyone's always interested in leg pads. And this is the Warrior GT2 Senior leg pad. I got it balanced up against my sea bag here so that way it doesn't flop and fall on the ground, so I can kind of sit here and tell you a little bit about the front face of the pad, and we'll take a look at the back of the pad because the strapping and everything else is what's mostly interesting. So looking at the front of the pad, so the Warrior GT2 Seniors, that's like their traditional, what you can maybe call like their hybrid pad. It's not like their butterfly blocking style goaltender pad. So basically, any NHL goalie who might be wearing like CCM eFlex 4s or like Brian Genetic 4, these are the type of people that are going to be playing like this type of traditional style leg pad. They're not as stiff as the G4. And they also have a more pronounced outer roll, as you can see, the more traditional look on the outer roll here. You know, it's, if I turn it to the side, you can see it's actually got some protrudes a little bit off that outer edge. And it's got a break at the bottom of the boot here, and another single break right here, right below the knee. So this pad's going to have a little bit more flex than like what you see now with like your blocking style butterfly goaltender pad, which would be like your Warrior G4, your CCM Premier 2, your Brian's Optic 2, your Bauer 2S Supreme. Those would be your traditional blocker pads, and this is not the type. This is more of the hybrid, flexible mobility, hybrid style goaltender that you kind of see in the NHL a lot. So these are not going to be as stiff as those other pads I mentioned. So you're not going to really have like booming, zinging rebounds as you would see with like any of the Bauer gear or CCM Premier 2 or any of those like thicker pads. Rebounds on these pads are going to hit the front face, and they're probably going to stop a couple feet out in front of you. So if you're one of those goaltenders that likes that type of control, and of course that also kind of depends on what type of shots you're also facing. But if you like your rebounds kind of close to your body to where you can set up and cover them and smother them, or at least try to make a play on the puck, this is probably the type of pad you want though. Also, one thing I kind of found playing these pads, and this is my disclaimer once again, I am not any good as a goaltender. I'm playing low-level rec league, and I suck. But I'm having fun doing it, and it's actually been a pretty good year so far, my first year playing goal. So I've really liked it. But I think if you're going to make any leg pad saves with this, just be conscious that, unlike that Heinrich Lundqvist video where he like makes the kick save and the puck rebounds like all the way back to the other end of the ice. Yeah, you're not going to get that with these pads. I mean, that's pretty damn insane that some of that gear that's out there nowadays is able to do that. But yeah, this is more your traditional style pad. You're going to have a little bit more taper in the toe here, taper angle, a little bit toe in the here. You're going to have a single break at the bottom of your boot, and you're going to have another break here as well. There is, don't quote, I might be wrong. I think there might be another smaller internal break. Nope, there isn't. Just the one. Just the one outer break here, and that's it. So once again, black pads. I like black because I think they look better. You don't get like dingy puck marks. The nylon straps and all that stuff, they're not going to get yellow or dingy over time. This stuff's going to look great. I mean, I've played at least 25 games on this stuff, and probably about a dozen or so like sticking pucks and scrimmages, and they for the most part still look brand new. They haven't broke down by any means at all. I bought these pads back in August, so this set has been really awesome to me. Like, I highly recommend Warrior Senior gear if you're a rec league goaltender, or if you're just looking to get started in goaltending. These pads play well enough, and they're not going to bust your pocketbook at all. So we talked about the front a little bit. It does have the kind of, they don't stick out as far, not like a CCM eFlex 4, but you do have like the traditional like looking knee rolls in there. I know the Warrior G4s have a pretty flat face unless you get like the classic, and that's pretty much the front of the pad there. So turn this side, and everyone wants to look at the sliding edge. It's a senior level pad, so don't expect anything crazy with the sliding edge. I know Bauer puts their Cortex stuff on their senior level gear, so if you buy like the Bauer X 2.9s or like their S29s, they'll have the Cortex sliding stuff on there. Warrior uses Gen Pro, and they're pretty much fine with that. This stuff has held up well through all my usage so far. I thought that maybe here there might be some wearing with the binding, or it might come apart. It hasn't. So not yet anyway, or maybe I'm not playing goalie hard enough. I don't know. But no, these have been great pads. So they're traditional. You got a normal knee block here. Then you also have the leg. It's pretty traditional here, down by your shin pad. And then down through the toe, which you have like a normal, you don't have like a severe like 100-degree like boot break like you would have like in the Bauer 2X Pro or some of the Bauer gear that's coming out now. And that's pretty much like the sliding edge. Yeah, it's held up well. It's been nice. The knee block coverage is great. You got a little protrusion here. So I got plenty of coverage. Never once did I not go down into the butterfly and miss my knee block. These things fit my leg great because they're really light. These leg pads probably weigh about 4 pounds a piece. When I tried them on, it almost felt like I could go for a jog. Before this, I was using a friend's Reebok XLT Premiers, which I think those were like the forerunner of like the CCN Premier 1 and 2. Yeah, those things felt like boat anchors. They were stiff, heavy, and the leather straps were loose, and they just didn't work for me. You know, if you do have those pads out there and you're using them, that's fine, that's great. But those I know just didn't work for me, which is why I kind of went to a more softer, flexible pad with different strapping. I wanted a pad that didn't have any leather straps, and I wanted something that was really light and mobile and had a little bit of flex to it because I wanted to play really mobile and fast. So that's why I went with the Warrior GT2s. So we'll flip the pad around to the back and let's look at the strapping. I love the strapping on this stuff. It's easy and simple. You throw these pads on, you can throw a leg pad on under 30 seconds. And that's if you're like, you know, drinking a beer and talking trash with your buddies in the pregame before you go out and skate. I like the leg wrap. The calf wrap is great. The Velcro is good. It doesn't get burry or messy or any of that stuff. So you got the option of wrapping it across however tight you want. And with the material on the inside, the stuff's pretty smooth. So excuse the bad cell phone video. But open up the clamshell a little bit here. But you can see like this material is pretty smooth. It's not going to rub up against your leg. I don't wear socks, like hockey socks. I know a lot of goalies do. Maybe old school goalies do. I don't wear hockey socks. I just basically just wear some compression pants underneath. And then I strap my knee pads on top of that. And then I'm good to go. You know, like I said, I like to be as light and mobile as possible. So this clamshell piece, the leg wrap, Velcro's across there. And it's not going anywhere. No matter what you're doing in the pad, it stays pretty well. So the best part about this pad, honestly, is options. So let's go down to the boot and talk about that. So I'll try to get this best view as I can. So this does come with a flexible boot strap. With the GT2s, you also get the skate lace, which is attached. But I took that out and I started playing with the ARS. And this is a pretty good strapping system. My only knock on it is that it's a little short. So other goalies have either used 550 cord to try to extend this thing past so you get more of a toe hook in there. Or, you know, using key rings. I wouldn't suggest the key rings. That might tear up the leather. If you're going to extend that, get something really simple like 550 cord and just cut some pieces off and tear the guts out and then do that. So yeah. But after I played with the toe strap for a while, and this is total personal preference, but I did go to Pro Laces, and that's what I got now. And I love the Pro Laces. Big fan of the bungee cords. I know a lot of the new pads are doing bungees, but these ARS straps work just fine. So the boot strap. So I messed around with a lot of configurations on this. It's got a little wear, but whatever. So you can see the rings here where it hooks in. It's nice. It snaps in, clips in fine. You don't have to worry about straps or Velcro or any other stuff that some of the other pads have. And this plastic stuff is pretty durable. These rings are pretty durable. Like it's not going to break. It's not going to rip out or wear down once you're using the pad. These attach pretty simple here on the backside. So the way I got this set up, after a lot of trial and error, You know, when I first started using this set, I was strapping under the boot skate, you know, this way, which means you're not running it through here. So I tried on another friend's pads. He had a pair of G4s that he let me borrow for like a game or two, and I really liked them. I really liked the soft boot and the, but he had his Lundy looped. And so after that, I realized the benefits of doing a Lundy loop because it makes the pad sit up a little bit higher. I found I could get a little bit deeper in my stance, and for my butterfly slide, I got a little better attack angle on the ice, trying to, you know, step and push my skate blade down into the ice and grip it and go. So I am on the Lundy Looper boat. I know you can run these pads without a bootstrap. You don't really need it. With this leg wrap and this up here, I mean, the pad's not going to detach itself or feel floppy off your leg. This is more or less for me, like I realized having this Lundy loop made the pad sit up a little bit higher on my skate, and I like that. So if you wanted to go without the ARS, and if you wanted to run the traditional skate lace, which also comes with this too, you can loop these things through here on this toe bridge, which is pretty awesome. Or if you do have pro laces, you can tie it in here in these holes as well, whichever works for you. What it basically does is like it turns the pad out. So if you wanted a butterfly quicker or easier, because if you're still terrible at it, like I am, you need all the help you can get. And so I had my pro laces actually set up on these two here, so it kind of angled the pad out more. And then I was able to get deeper and wider in my stance, which is still awful. But that's awesome. But, you know, that's the bottom of the boot. The number one thing about these pads that I loved was just how modular they are. You can set these things up however you want. Trial and error. Hey, I'm going to try this out for a couple of games. Nah, this isn't working for me. You know what? Let's try the Lundy loop and see what the rage is all about. Oh, well, I can just got a couple other pieces I can run the strap through here, and then I'm good to go. So if you're going in the leg channel on the inside, this material, this little nylon material-ish, it's pretty smooth. It doesn't hang up on your leg or anything. The only time I noticed that maybe the pad hung up was mostly because of my bad goaltending, not that I had any friction inside the leg channel between my leg and the pad. These pads inside here are pretty damn thick, probably about at least a good ½ inch on the main pad here, and about another ½ inch, almost to an inch here on the side. These are very comfortable pads. Like I said, I like them. It's kind of crazy that I'm letting them go already, but you know, upwards and onwards. But these are great senior level pads. So going up to the knee block, you can do anything you want with these buckles. So you got the knee wing here with a buckle. If you're one of those goaltenders that likes to go straight across behind the knee, then by all means, you can do that easily. If you're one of those guys that likes to go strapped down to the backside of your calf, do that, buckle it in, you're fine. Me, I like to be as light as possible and as mobile as possible. So I put these back to stock just for this video, but I took this knee wing out, took this guy out. I also took the sling wrap off, and I just went straight with this black buckle strap down to the wing, or I'm sorry, down to the legs or the leg wrap. And I liked it. I wear the Warrior XR, well, sorry, I wore the Warrior X2 senior knee pads. And so what I found by going down here and not having this Velcro here wasn't interfering with my knee pads. And the pads rotated great. I didn't need all this extra stuff that was just getting in the way. Wasn't needed. So you can take this stuff off, and how that works, you peel this back. Excuse me if I'm doing this and holding the phone. You peel this back. This is your sling wrap. You just peel that off, run your black strap through here, and that's how you pop it off. And your knee wrap is, or your sling wrap is off, and you can do whatever you want to it, or you can leave it on. Like I said, completely up to you. So the knee pads, I have seen with other goalies that they have gotten some wear and tear in here, and that happens. And I got a couple black marks in here, but that's from the knee pads that I wear. I would assume that over time that, you know, I've seen other pictures, guys have posted pads where they've started to fray in here. But I mean, that's people that are wearing their knee pads, and they're also playing like, 3-4 times a week within a year, which is a lot of ice time. But I mean, it's equipment. It's going to get beat up. It's going to get torn up. It's just the way it is. I mean, we're standing back there getting puck shot at us because, we're just nuts like that. But anyway, this is the quick down and dirty review on the Warrior GT2 Senior. Great pads. Highly recommend them to anybody, to the general population, if you will. Buy senior gear, especially buy Warrior. They put a lot of value and innovation and even in just their senior gear. And they're pretty accessible too, which is as far as like some of their reps. You can find, Kirk Allen is a Warrior rep. You'll see him he posts all the time on the Goalie Net, or the Goal Network, if you will. And that's a pretty good site. I've gotten a lot of information out of there, but you'll see him on there asking people as the rep on there, asking questions and also finding answers for people who got questions about Warrior gear. So yeah, I like what Warrior does. Really good stuff. Highly recommend their pads. I've tried the GT2s. I've also played in the G4s. Both pads are great. They're just a little bit different style. That's about it. So it's pretty much down to you, depending on what style you want to play for a goaltender. So, but anyway, thanks for listening. And if you got any questions, I'll try to find an answer for you. Thanks a lot.